right, we are live for the 83rd episode of the
Let's Go podcast and another late night edition, and we are beyond proud and extremely grateful that we have the opportunity to have on Mr. Aaron Ben and of course Yossi Rosenberg representing Reb Shiloh's Kitchen RSK, and of course the RSK softball tournament that now has been running for the last, let me see if I could get it, 1, 2, 3 years, and we're coming up on year number 4 this coming year. And we are super excited to have them on and learn some really cool insights about RSK and about the softball tournament. And I'll hand it over to Mr. David Gottlieb to take it away.
It's a big schus to be here. In a lot of ways, I was introduced to the RSK tournament by Avi Adelman back in 2022. He was obviously very excited that he won the inaugural tournament. We were playing softball
forever the inaugural tournament.
You know, the entire team schedule was organized around him making it to the RSK tournament. I can't play this week. I can't play. It affected the entire spring season. And now me and Avi are zocha to be running an entire league that takes off on June 22nd because we have between 40 and 50 players playing in the RSK tournament. And as someone who's middle class, I make some money. What's some money nowadays? Who knows? I obviously, reading some of the literature on the RSK tournament, it's so relevant to me. Avi's, a high class person, so it's not so relevant to him. But no, I'm joking. It's relevant to everybody. But it's
the HSL has really exploded year one.
So it's a big schus for two reasons. One is I know so many people who are participating in the tournament, and it's a big schus for another reason, which is that you guys incredibly have. Aaron clearly is, and Yossi, helping out, clearly are involved in an incredible mission to help Yidden in the area and maybe even longer. So welcome to the podcast to the two of you.
Thrilled to be here.
Thank you.
Nothing I love talking about more than tournament. My wife is done hearing about it, so now you have a new audience.
Absolutely. Aaron, welcome. How you doing tonight?
We're doing amazing. Thanks for having us. Pleasure to be here. Let's do this.
It's a pleasure to have you. Let's do this. So, Aaron, a lot of the people who are going to be heavily interested in this probably know a lot about RSK. We have our guys in Lakewood. We have our guys in Muncie who watch our podcast. We have our guys in Queens and 5 towns who probably know a lot about it. But why don't you give a little introduction for our listeners who might not know so much about Reb Shiloh's Karastir's Kitchen?
Right. Yeah. It's basically, we did start as a Reb Shiloh's Kitchen. The founder, Matis Gilbert, was like 10, 11 years ago. He was then in Pinsk. He was introduced to Reb Shiloh. He was there and got very inspired over just the act of chesed, the kindness, and just giving and helping people, helping families. It was always with focusing on the middle class, focusing on how Baruch Hashem, there's beautiful organizations out there helping families in need. But Matis did see there's a void in when it comes to middle class families when they need the help, and he started with back then alone, just did the whole thing. Gave out meals, suppers. He did the delivery. He paid for everything. Like it's just a beautiful thing in the schos and the honor. That the way he looked at it as Reb Shiloh, that's what it was called, Reb Shiloh's Kitchen. It's interesting how it evolved, and to what it is today. Like just a real financial center. Interesting story, but to make a long story short, it's basically our mission today. We went from Reb Shiloh's Kitchen to RSK. We still, the name is Reb Shiloh Kastira, and our focus and mission and everything we do is our goal is to have families financially stable. That's our goal. That's what we work for in Baruch Hashem. There's a tremendous Yata D'Shmaya. We have great programs and tools, and that we can really help families in a beautiful way and a dignified way, and just be really impactful.
Beautiful. How long have you been working with RSK?
I think 2.5 years. It's the third tournament. Yeah, it's my third tournament.
So
you came in a little after the first year, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you missed my celebration, huh?
Yeah. I think so.
I
It's
feel like
very
every single
interesting that.
as every month
Aaron,
goes on, my championship keeps on getting lower and lower in the totem pole. What's going on?
Avi has
Uh,
a way of Avi's a great guy, but he has a way of making any event in the softball world about himself. In fact, in our Sunday Sports League, my team recently clinched the 2 seed, and Avi's there announcing with the phone, and he says, "Like I predicted at the beginning of the season, they're the number
About
2 seed." Avada.
We do a power
So
ranking podcast before every season, and I had David's team as the 2 seed, and they won to get to the 2 seed, so I was very proud of myself. Anyways,
Aaron, so
moving
just
on.
two and a half years, you've become very meaningful to a lot of people involved with RSK in that time. It's pretty
Baruch
incredible.
Hashem.
What do you
It is
attribute
a
that to?
meaningful organization, and it's very different. I'm used to, I wasn't, in the tzedukah world, if I may call it that way, but there's something special about doing things in a dignified way and just waking up every day. This is the whole team. Baruch Hashem, we have a wonderful team in RSK here, and just waking up every day with one mission, with one goal. How can we make families self-sufficient? And we just look at it as selling menuchas hanefesh, giving that people spend a lot of money on going on vacations, just trying to get that peace of mind and the ruhigkeit, how you say in Yiddish, the clarity. And Baruch Hashem, we have this chus to do that every day and literally see families changing, families coming in all different types and stages, and b'siyata d'shmaya, there's a beautiful way out, and a way that they could be self-sufficient on their own, proud, and even give back to the community in a beautiful way.
Rabbi Aaron, what type of Hasidus are you part of?
I'm bells.
So, how many Belzer Hasidim are there involved in softball tournaments?
So
he had to
we
go
look
through
at
a rigorous training program before
yeah.
he.
I played in camp, if that counts.
What camp did you go to growing
Something.
up? What camp was
Belzer
that?
camp and
Oh,
Woodridge.
Belzer
Yeah.
camp. Oh, really? It's a Belzer camp. Oh, that's pretty funny. So you've obviously been working with Yossi for a couple of years now. Yossi, so it's interesting. So you started after Yossi had already helped start the tournament. So you came in the middle, sort of. I mean, it was near the
That's it.
beginning, but in the
It
middle.
was. I came to a beautiful product. Yossi, it's Greenbaum, Yehuda Gilbert. There, before I came in, and I was tak amazed. I remember I did see it even before I was in RSK. I did see it, and it was very impressive that an organization like I didn't know the background that organization pulled off such a beautiful tournament. But it's amazing to see how it went from year on, and Baruch Hashem, together with the great team we have, the tournament team. Yossi is Yossi and Yitz and Mandy Halpert. I mean, we'll get to talk about everyone.
But just one last question before we turn to Yossi. I was looking through the list of teams for the tournament, and we've got a lot of guys from the five towns. I recognize some Muncie guys. I recognize some Lakewood guys. I'm not seeing any teams of Belzer Hasidim.
Yeah.
They use different names.
It's
You got it.
You got it. All right, so Yossi, you're sort of synonymous with the RSK tournament at this point. You ask people about the RSK tournament, they mention Yossi Rosenberg. So why don't you tell us the story of how you got involved with this?
The story I got involved with this is it comes down to just being a die-hard softball guy. I'm sure by now Avi knows me long enough. Like softball. Me and Yitz Greenbaum, like Aaron mentioned, we were big softball guys. We played in softball tournaments over the years, and we always felt like we can make a softball tournament, and we were dying to do it. There was the organization in Muncie, RSK, that we both knew through the founder of the organization, Matas Gilbert. His younger brother, Yehuda Gilbert, was always fundraising. We know him through softball.
I never
And
put
so
two
we
and two
knew.
together. Wow. Okay.
Oh, you
Dummy
didn't
I
know
am.
that?
What a dummy I am. No, I did. Never put two and two together. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense. Okay.
So there's a connection, yeah, and me and Yitz were like, you know what? We should see if we can partner up with RSK and do a softball tournament. I think it could be really, really great, right? RCCS had hockey and other organizations, different things. Are like, let's do a softball tournament. And we reached out to RSK, and it was funny because at the time, RSK had been trying to figure out how to get into the tournament world. They were discussing different things. They actually had a meeting set up with YK Events. I don't know if you know who that
Shout
is. Yeah,
Of course.
Yankee Katz, YK Events. They were just going to discuss something, and Matas Gilbert was like, "Why don't you come down? Let's sit down and discuss softball." And we sat down, and that first meeting, we kind of went from there. And YK was huge in helping us get off the ground. But I don't think that anyone at that meeting, like we discussed our 1 year plan, our 5 year, 10 year, like what are we thinking? I don't think any of us really imagined how quickly this would like explode. That first year, I think we had 8 teams. We were scrambling 8 teams. We put it together. Um, we got maybe 125 participants like at the park total between the teams, people watching, small scale. Year two, we were suddenly 16 teams, and it was like mind blowing. And I can even tell you like how Basherta was for the place, our location. So when we were starting out, we were planning on having 8 teams, and you need a park with 4 fields. Those are very limited. 4 fields, like how many parks do you know? We searched. Me and Yitz Greenbaum spent probably a month Google Maps satellite images, searching for places. I found a place. I was like, this is perfect. It has 4 fields. We're going to go. I went down to the park. I looked at it, walked around. Amazing. This is great. I talked to them. Yeah, maybe they'll let us come. In the end, they said, now we have a Sunday morning cricket game that we just can't get rid of. And it's in the middle, so you can't have anything. And I'm there thinking, were they crazy? We're going to come. We're going to pump in all this. We're going to take all the fields, take over. It's going to be great. They said no. I had to go searching, and I found this other park that had 9 fields. We only needed 4, but it had 9, and that allowed us to go immediately into second year. It was like mamash bashert that we were able to pull that off, and it allowed us to expand to what we are today. And it's really been incredible. Special. I know like how much I put in. Like my focus is on the softball stuff, but how much RSK and everyone there, Aaron and Matis, buy into this as something that's important and helps RSK, and they're there. They're not just like go do the softball thing and whatever we get. No, like they understand. They're full in, and it's so huge. This is like the RSK and Bat for RSK is like a real partnership. It's not just like the thing that someone does on the side that brings in some cash for RSK. It's really a full partnership.
I think how often don't we talk?
Yeah.
You're closer with each other
By,
than you are with your wives. Your wives both hate the
so
other. Your wives both
Aaron,
hate
what
each
were we
other.
saying? Aaron made a Vachnach, was it last week, right?
Yeah.
And I came, and Aaron was introducing me to people. He's my partner now. He's my partner.
The
Very,
half a
very
year
cute.
partner. But to take this moment, we are Baruch Hashem. It's as Yossi said that everything started with Siyata D'Shmaya, but we are blessed and we thank Hashem here in RSK every day for Yossi Rosenberg. It's incredible. It's beyond words to have someone so committed, so invested. The hours, the koiches, the thought, the machshav, everything that he puts into this tournament, as if this was his business or his and fully volunteer. And I don't know, Yossi, if you know this, we asked, I think it was last year, 2 years ago, went to your wife to ask her, like, what present could we get you? And she said the best present would be that the tournament should be successful. No, we should raise
Oh,
we should
very
raise
sweet.
tons of
Very,
money.
very sweet.
Since then, I have a big pressure.
No, but it's true. It's my honor and privilege to be able to do this. To me, I look at it's a huge part of, you can give tzedakah on money, but this is something that's huge, and I'm glad to be able to contribute that in volunteer form, because I think that's also such a huge thing when it comes to running something like this. Aside from, general, when you're doing tzedakah events, you want to make sure you're handling money properly, and it's mom and hektish, so you want to make sure everything is. It's so important. Like me not being fully volunteer as opposed to getting paid, it helps with that, right? Every penny is going into the tzedakah, and the truth is that's the team. Me and Aaron doesn't get paid for a bat for RSK. I mean, Aaron works for RSK, but there's no special payment for him. This is from the bat for RSK side. Like it's volunteer run, and that's something that is intentional on purpose, and we want it that
including
way
Mendy
because
Halpert.
that's
So
true
who's
too.
Mendy
guys
Halpert?
know
His
him.
name came up. His
So
name came up
David's not
twice.
familiar with Mendy. David's not involved in the Muncie in the
He's got the
MSL or any of the
mid-tier
Muncie.
influencer.
Yeah. You got Yossi. Explain to David and anyone else watching who Mendy Halpert is and how he's involved.
So Mendy Halpert is the self-proclaimed mid-fluencer, mid-tier influencer. He's also another big softball guy, long-time friend with him, friends with Yitz Greenbaum, and also he identifies with the mission of RSK and all that. And as we were building up the tournament, he really wanted to get involved, and he did. And now he works with me and Aaron to really day to day to keep things running and everything
Wait, so
like
he
that.
was
And it's
part
also,
of the Muncie softball crew, Mr. Mendy?
when you say Muncie softball crew, what do you mean?
I don't know what I mean. I know Yitz Greenbaum runs a bunch of sports leagues in Muncie. It sounds like you're connected with him up there.
Yeah.
And now you're mentioning Mendy.
Mendy plays in MSL. He plays in the softball league in
Mendy plays.
Muncie. Yeah.
Yes.
So you still haven't answered the question. Is he part of the Muncie softball crew or not? It sounds like you're not quite sure if he is or not.
How do you define the Muncie softball crew? Is he part of the guys that play softball together for many years? Yes. The answer is full on yes.
But what's
before he blew out his elbow, one of the best shortstops.
Oh, that's why you were answering like that, because he's no longer.
No, I didn't know what you meant. Trust me, Mendy was the shortstop in Muncie.
Okay.
The shortstop in Muncie. Then he stopped being able to throw because.
So when did Mendy get involved? In RSK.
In the Bat for RSK tournament in helping run things last year, and he's involved this year.
He's very much involved, at least from what I see. He's very much involved in helping to fundraise. He's very involved in the incentive, very involved in the pump of the fundraising, making it fun, making it something more than just collecting money, but actually making it fun for the guys to collect, whether it's incentives or just being cute on the chat or being funny. And he's very involved in that.
What's the chat? How do I get on the chat? I gotta join the tournament. You're saying
you gotta be a player. It's player exclusive.
I will admit that I was at the chat. I was at the I've been friends with Avi for a long time. He won in 2022. And then I schlepped out there in 2023. I shouldn't say schlepped. It was a pleasure. It was there was Kfitzas Haderech. People don't know, to get to the RSK tournament, there's Kfitzas Haderech. I got there. It was like 100. It was like 100 degrees, by the way. 2 years in a row, 2020. And it was an amazing experience being there. Avi, then couldn't win. He had to run out at the Baruch Hashem. He had a baby boy. He didn't win, but it was really an incredible experience.
Yeah. So. It's very funny you mentioned the heat because one of the funniest things that happened last year obviously was pretty hot. And part of the reason that we do the date that we do is because we want it to be in June. It's a little earlier. We hope for a little cooler weather as opposed to doing it mid-July or into August. Way things worked out last year, June, whatever it was, 23rd, was 100 degrees. The following week, which was I think July 1st, I believe, it was like 70.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me. But that's how it goes.
It's interesting that you say that because we have a lot of cheshbonos with running our spring softball league. A lot goes into it. This year was a lot of headaches. I shouldn't call them headaches, but 2 weeks Pesach, 1 week Shavuos. For the Zionistim among us, sorry, Aaron, some people have the Israeli Day Parade on May 18th. Which is a cheshbon.
Memorial Day, RSK, a lot of Sundays that are.
There's a lot of
your side.
When is that?
It's 2 days before, sir.
It's 2 days before what? Before what?
It's Gimel Iyeh. If Shad is yet, it's Gimel Iyeh.
Oh, really? Okay. So
it's May 1st, I believe.
Avi has a whole thing that our spring league needs to end before the first Catskills Shabbos. So I said to Avi, there's no such din of a Catskills Shabbos. He says, yes, there is. There's a Shabbos when everybody decides they're going to the Catskills for Shabbos, which you guys agree with.
June 29th.
June 29th. I'm not so tuned into it. But the RSK tournament now cuts us off by an extra Sunday because... So your cheshbon had nothing to do with the Catskills? It was... That's very interesting to me.
So... At some point, I think that was a conversation. So let's back up to year one a little bit in terms of planning. Year one, when we sat down, the whole tournament was really just this very, very broad concept of us sitting there at a table, throwing out ideas. Aaron wasn't even there then. This predates Aaron. And the initial idea included a 2-day event with it was a whole thing. So
like RCCS.
yes, that was the initial idea. And so we had to sit down and figure out when could we do 2 days, what works. And we came up with July, I'm trying to remember. It was it July 4th weekend maybe? It was a weekend, I think beginning of July, early July. So it was probably July where you had Sunday and Monday, I believe. That's what it was. And that's where the original concept to do it like at the beginning of the summer came from, to get 2 days in. And then obviously we never went forward with the 2 days. We stuck with 1 day, which that's what it is. It's 1 day. I don't think, 2 days makes so much sense for softball, at least not yet. We're not quite there yet. Maybe that's a year 6 plan. We'll see. But as we spoke, we got it going and we started talking to more and more people. We started gearing it towards when schools end and before, so schools end usually.
I think it's literally that week, like the week before.
Right. So it's the first Sunday after schools start to finish. That's how we usually get it, because then kids start to go to camp and things like that. But we want it during, and people go to the mountains and all that. So in a way, it is partial going up to the mountains.
But your husband was more about schools. But I guess it's all connected in a way.
I actually benefited personally big time from this cheshbon this year, because the team that I'm pitching for are a bunch of 12th graders from Netzach. So I'm actually literally pitching for kids who are currently in school. So I am benefiting very much from this perfect June 22nd date this year.
You know what,
Yeah,
Reb Yossi and Reb Aaron, we got to give Avi his, you gave Mendy Halpert his due. We got to give Avi his due for a couple of reasons. First reason is he's been in the tournament every year. 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. The next reason you have to give him his due is we now have a league that revolves its entire schedule around the RSK tournament. And Avi claims we have 40 to 50. I'm not quite sure it's that high. We'll go through the numbers later. Avi claims we have 40 to 50 guys in the tournament. By the way, Glenn Zuckerman's coming down for the first time this year, right?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
He was a late pick. Yeah, he was a late pickup because I think Ellie Race lost Shuey Offen due to injury, and Adam Offen couldn't play last second. So Glenn Zuckerman, I think, is replacing one of them on the roster.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting. He's also from Great Neck, so you should really raise the fee from $1,800 to like $3,600. Okay, side.
I can go. Once he registers, maybe he is already. I can go in there and just make some quick changes. Not a problem.
Glenn, we try to mention Glenn in every podcast because we like making fun of him. So, Avi, besides for revolving our league schedule around the RSK tournament, and besides for playing in it every year, I think, Avi, you're also on your 1, 2, 3. You're on your third team or your fourth team?
I'm on my third team in 4 years.
He's on his third team in 4 years. So for whatever reason, the teams didn't work out. Some worked out, some didn't. But this is a guy, he's devoted to the cause. He is going to find a team. He's going, Avi does everything at 150%. He's going to show up and give it his all. So I think that's a pretty incredible thing to have an ambassador. And, in general, while I'm like ranting about this, I think what's amazing about what you guys have done with the tournament is that you now have 200 ambassadors. I'm talking to people, Jonas and Lowinger, Avi Nenner, they're selling me on RSK. I got hit up by about 8 or 9 different people. I gave to 4. Oh, I gave to Yossi also.
That's right. Greatly appreciated.
I can't keep giving, Reb Aaron. Maybe if I got one of your phone calls during the year, I would give. But I've heard about your famous phone calls checking in with people. So, but it's amazing that you have 100. You now have 150, 200 ambassadors. It's a really incredible thing.
Yeah, and Aaron, I know you can talk about how many players are involved well beyond the tournament.
Exactly, it is amazing. The tournament is obviously the day of and the game and everything around it, but it's so beautiful to see people connecting to the cause. I mean, we're talking about before the fee or whatever it is. There's so many players that really come because they feel for RSK, they feel for the mission. they wanna do the change, and they really want to help. I get calls constantly of we can't mention everyone, but and I would say a lot of players reaching out. What could I do? How could I help more? How can I get involved? We have a player, one player. I don't know if he wants to mention his name, but the company he works in is doing a big event next week, just an awareness event. This is not the first player that does it. They get really involved in the cause, which is, a lot of times people just use the term "it's a family." It really is. And I think it gets abused a few times too much. We don't even have to call it family by us, because it is. It literally is. It's mamish with each and every player. They come for the cause, and to be honest, even the donors, people appreciate. I did get a lot of feedback this year from different players that they got the donations they got were from clients, from current clients, former clients that just literally want to give back. They went through the programs, they went to the events, whatever it is, and they want to give back, and it's unbelievable. So thank you, each and everyone. Thank you, Avi, and all
Byron,
of you.
I have a question for you. I'm not asking about the financial impact, but in terms of RSK, I'm very curious about marketing. Avi's a tremendous marketer. We do a lot of marketing at HSL. What percentage of RSK's marketing, the level of awareness in the world that RSK has, is due to the softball tournament?
That's a very good question. It's definitely that the tournament really opened up a whole new door. I mean, we just did one of the flyers, and we just looked at how many cities do we have people and like the players involved. Came out to 43 cities. So
Wow.
it's not just Muncie or Lakewood or Brooklyn or Five Towns. There's
Queens
really
and
good,
Queens.
And
Queens.
Queens.
of course.
And Queens.
Then we have it there. No, we put it out.
Yeah.
And it's funny, everywhere we go, like throughout the year, Matas and myself, we go around to different communities and different neighborhoods, people that want to get involved. And it usually starts with hey, I got, I saw the tournament. The guys asked me 9 times 10, whatever it is. The Chavod are amazing, doing a wonderful job. And everyone is here to do more. 1,800 is just, the fee, how you call it, but the people are here. It's unbelievable. You could check out the page, and
No,
you
I
can
did check
see
out the
what's going
page because
on.
I gave to Yossi's page. It was a little bit optimistic. It was like $100,000. Yossi, what was your page at?
How much have I raised?
No, what was your
My
target for
goal?
this year? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Now I
The
think
first
it's
goal. It's the first goal.
25,000.
Oh, it's 25,000.
Yeah.
You know what? You're halfway
Yeah.
there already. It's not so optimistic. It's
Yeah. No, I'll be there. I'm not concerned. Now I'm no Mendy helper.
Let's see what Mendy has. Take me a second.
Also, Psach Akron is also doing
So
incredible.
I just want to bring him up. It's important, and I want to mention Psachi. It's amazing. Psachi and Aaron Schwartz and Yehuda Gilbert.
Mendy Halpert, 25. I'm with you. Yeah, sorry.
No, you
No,
have to
wait. See how
cheat.
much he's raised. Forget the
Oh.
goal. He,
Wow. He raised 102,000 this year already?
go look at his donations too.
How's that possible?
Look,
$102,000?
go look at
Anonymous 100,000. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
The
Oh, wait, I
nicest guy
saw
out
that.
there.
Someone sent that to me. Oh, maybe it's posted on the MSL chat as like a dig. I saw that. That's crazy. That's insane.
Wow. That's amazing. Where does he live? Where does Mendy live?
Mendy's in Muncie.
Mendy's in Muncie also. But Aaron, I cut you off. You were in the middle of talking. Sorry.
The going for and again, I came in the second year, but I think the first year the minimum was even less. Was whatever the number was, and right away the first year there was so many players, so many guys that they didn't stop, and they took it through. I think Aaron Schwartz was the first year took it to $15,000, and it was this small tournament. No one even knew RSK wasn't what it is today. They mamish fought for it and made it what it is. And same, Psachi Akimi, he took it. It was his first year. He raised 10,000, and last year he was over 50,000. It's unbelievable. We're really lucky and blessed, and it's one amazing. Matas always says by the tournament, like it's a Rachnisdig event, but it is. It's not just about. Of course, we come to play, and it's Baruch Hashem, a wonderful day and a wonderful game, and very competitive and very very looked after. I mean, I don't know if Yossi you mentioned. I mean, the first we were by 14 teams and in less than 24 hours. Like registered, and even now, I mean, we have one team left, and we have 2 or 3 eyes on it. Yes, you know better than it.
But it still is open if anyone wants to jump in
Is that the
and
tier
grab
one team? Is
it.
that a tier one team, Yossi?
There's a tier 2 team open.
Oh, all tier one teams are. Oh, I guess I'm getting distracted. All tier one teams are full now. There's 8 tier one teams.
You can go check the website.
And how many
When's
tier
this?
2?
8 also 7 right now, I guess.
7.
Yeah.
So the
Wait,
eighth
who's
team
the-
is totally empty or half, or what's the story with the 8th team?
Meaning there's still an open slot. We have interest.
If anybody needs a
from
light hitting second baseman, I'm available.
Wait, can I just be?
I can float it out there.
Can I be a softball junkie for a second? There was my team that just signed up. I'm assuming Enoch's team signed up. Who's the 8th team from tier 1 that's signing up?
You'll have to wait and find out.
You said he's on the website already. It's not private news anymore.
No, he's not.
Here's the fun. Is looking at the teams and trying to figure out who's in tier 1.
Oh, come on.
All right.
Now
so
we're gonna see Avi. How many softball guys does he really know?
Now you're gonna see me swipe out of this podcast mid-podcast to go check the website and see what the 8th team is. That's what's
Before
gonna
we
happen.
get into this softball junkie stuff, we talked a lot about RSK. We talked about the start of the tournament, and it's already getting late. We got to get into the stuff that makes people's blood rush all year. It's in the depths of January. People are thinking about the RSK tournament. They're thinking about that ball. Steve Pollen, deep in January, he's thinking about a little old ground ball to third base that was booted, and he lost a championship. People are thinking about this and that. We're gonna get to that in 1 second, but before that, Avi, how did you know about the RSK tournament back in 2022? You were a young man. I probably met you in 2021 or so. How did you find out about the tournament? And it was so obvious to you. I remember that season. You're like, we cannot have any play. Avi wasn't a captain. He had no position of importance on the team besides being a fantastic pitcher. So the team sort of revolved around him. But, he came in, he said, I can't play anything on June, whatever it was. How did you know about the tournament back then?
I don't remember exactly how I found out. I mean, like Yossi was saying, it was either right before the podcast, right as the podcast was starting. Similar to Yossi, I'm a massive softball junkie. I love softball. I live for softball. It's the only thing I've ever really had an outlet, cared about, was either watching baseball or playing softball. So when I found out about it, I think it might have even been through like Yakov Sabo and telling me that his Lakewood team is, at the time he was living in Lakewood playing with Uri Adler and those guys, how his Lakewood team is bringing a team to this softball tournament. And I wanted to get on a team, and I said, hey, could you tell this guy Uri Adler, who I had no clue who he was at the time, that I would love to get on a team as a second pitcher. I actually came in as a backup pitcher, I think. And I ended up getting involved. And, once you play in the tournament once, I tell this to everybody, it's, obviously the RSK is amazing and the organization is tremendous. But from a softball perspective, I tell everyone it's literally the Gan Eden of softball. Like, it is like, if you're a softball guy, it is like, you cannot stop thinking about it all year. It's just like, I would give up anything for that. I would give up I remember a couple of years ago, when MSL, at that time RJSL, was still running their season, at the same week as one of the tournaments, or maybe I forget exactly, or maybe it was HSL. I wouldn't even care if it was a championship game. Like, I needed to be there because I just live for it. I love it. The hype, all the guys there, all the competition, the softball itself. So I don't remember exactly how I was made aware of it. I think it was through Yakov, who then connected me with Uri and then put me on his team as a second pitcher. And then the fairy tale ride went right through the sky as we won the championship. And but like, yeah, like I don't know exactly, but the second I stepped foot onto that field with 18 worth of guys and just seeing everything softball around me, I was just I couldn't stop. And again, like I said, in addition, obviously RSK being a tremendous organization attached to it, it's an event that's impossible to separate yourself from. Like, I don't get how, if you're a softball guy in any capacity, you're not absolutely obsessed and need to be there. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't fit in my blood. Like, you see how passionate I am talking about it. Something that I'll continue doing forever unless I get kicked off of all 8 teams, and then I'll be stuck. But at least as long as I have a team to play for, I'm always going to be back.
Honestly, I love hearing that. It's
Wow.
great to get that kind of feedback from a guy who's been there every single year. I I think that when it comes to when me and Yitz were starting up this tournament, one of the biggest things that we realized that's super important is that the softball stuff has to be run by softball guys. You can't just have people who can run an event. No, it has to be. They have to understand what they're doing when it comes to softball because that's what makes everything. And Aaron knows. Anytime that we talk to a vendor, we work with a vendor who's helping run things. It's you have to understand softball. That is the first step because if you don't, you're going to miss out on things. And that's such a huge part of making
Wait, what
sure
kind
that
of
it's
vendor needs to know about softball?
anyone that's involved with helping structure the day because they have to
It's
understand what
amazing.
the priorities are in the day. And the priority is everything is built around the softball.
What were you
Yeah,
going to say,
Avi, it was
Brian?
very refreshing to hear from you. Thank you so much for being with us, and Mitzvah many more years to come.
Now that
It's
you're gonna,
mamish
I
amazing.
thought you were gonna say many more teams to come, which would be a very cute thing
No,
to
no,
say. But both true. Well, hopefully not the second. But anyways, go ahead.
because
Avi, it's just time for you to make a team that you can't.
yeah,
Then you.
I can't make a team. I ditched my team year two with Jonas and Lowinger. So now I'm like that free agent flopping around from team to team. Anyways, go ahead.
maybe something with
I
David.
got my championship. I got my championship and the first forever.
That's
Continue.
true.
First is the first. You got it.
That's right.
But it's amazing to hear because in the beginning I remember when I started out and everyone has different ideas of different cool things like hey maybe we do this maybe we do that and if you in the beginning I like Mamish didn't have why shouldn't we do this and Yossi and Yitz and everyone of us let's stick to it it's a softball tournament and so today everything we do is first think does it enhance the game does it come in? Would it help? How would the players feel about it? Or what can we do better for the players? It mamish literally about the players, about the game. Everything we think about, every step is about the players. And it's also one thing, of course, and we mentioned before, great guys, Uri and everyone that raises and everything, but it's also one thing we do at the tournament, everyone is the same and everyone is special and we don't differentiate between anything. We don't look at the website at all when it comes to the tournament. We appreciate each and every player, their families, the guests that come, and it is, Baruch Hashem, a beautiful day.
It's just so fun seeing everyone there at one tournament. Like I remember my first year, I didn't really have much of a relationship with the Steve Pollen or a Yitz Greenbaum, at least not to the extent I do now. I was like, like maybe it's my insecurities, but like I was nervous walking around there, but like a good type of nervous. Like I was playing with the big boys. When I was pitching against Menachem Diamondstein in that championship, like I was literally like I was going to the bathroom all game. Like
Right.
it was very intimidating for me, and everyone makes fun like, oh, his team back then compared to the top teams in RSK now is not even close. But like it was, the adrenaline rush I got, and I still get is something that I don't. That's not. It's not typical.
Yeah, it's interesting, and for me was to be personal. Obviously, I'm not into it the way the way you guys are. Everyone comes
Yes.
Not
to
yet.
Yes.
Not yet.
not
Yes.
yet. No. I would be into the food and the vibe around. That's massive. But literally every player that shows up to the tournament, they are coming to win. Like every year, like the people check. I remember Jonas Malonga. Where's the trophy? I just want to know if it fits in my car. Just to check. It's they come to it, and I don't know. There's an amazing energy going on.
I can't wait till we will officially be the youngest ever team to win the RSK tournament this year. It should be a lot of fun.
Sounds good. It sounds good to me.
All right. So
Excited.
It's good to
let's. So
dream. Whether it happens
It's
is.
true. Me
I
and
look,
Avi
Avi,
Kurtz.
Avi. I look forward to
Yeah,
beating you in the championships. How about that?
I'll take that if it means Adler and Lawrence get knocked out.
I
No,
agree.
nah. I wouldn't say I'll take that. I'll say that's better than. I'd rather you win the championship. I'll put it that way. I'm happy with you guys winning it. But listen, me and
so
Avi Kurtz, man, that duo, you never know which one of us are going to be on the mound. We
There's,
got something
I
coming.
know
really is Avi
there's good
Kurtz that
talent
good?
on that team.
They're a bunch of young kids. I mean, they're kids. They're kids. Listen, they're kids, but they're very talented. They're very athletic.
Yes.
A lot of them play on my Monday night team in the Five Towns, and they do a good job holding their own against guys who are 40, 50 years old, who've been playing for years and extremely
Yes.
talented. It should be fun, and they're good vibes, and I might bring one or two guys with me as well. So we'll see.
Who are you bringing,
We
Avi?
played against them last year in I forgot which round.
Yeah, we beat them in the quarterfinals last year.
Right, we beat them, and we beat them pretty handily, but I don't think that the score reflected how good they were. Like, we walked off the field and we were like, yeah, these kids are good. They were very nervous playing in the A tier. They
Very.
joined at the very end. They were very, very nervous. Do they belong? Do they belong? And after the tournament, I texted Avi or I spoke to him and I was like, you absolutely belong in A. Like, yes, we won, but you belong here.
Yeah,
Avi.
they
They
retooled.
clearly belong there.
They
Yossi's
retooled.
stumbling into a hornet's nest here with the A versus B Hawk. I don't know if you have it up in Muncie, but we have a legacy in the Queens Five Towns area of the B League guys feeling beaten down that they don't deserve to be in the A League. And me and Avi do everything we can to psychologically rehabilitate these people, and it's not easy.
David's exaggerating quite a bit.
Am I exaggerating? How much am I exaggerating?
Well, you just said the B guys feel like they're getting beat. Oh, when you mean beaten down, you mean like they don't get enough attention paid to them? What do you mean?
What I mean is that you have people who have been in the B League for literally 2 decades who don't feel they belong in the B League. I can name you a list of 5 to 10 people like that. It's very hard for some people to get over that hump.
Yeah.
To feel like they belong in the A tier. It's a very common problem. Avi, I'm surprised you didn't understand what I was talking about. We've spent hours and hours on this issue because we have
another issue also, which I thought you were referring to as a joke, in which a lot of B players are too scared to play A-League ball because they want to have a chance.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, what did you think I meant by
it sounded like you were saying they feel like they're not, that they want to do it so bad, but they don't feel like anybody wants them, is what it sounded like you were saying, I guess, from my perspective. But yeah, now I understand you correctly. We have a very big issue in our leagues where there are a lot of players who don't believe in themselves to be higher level players and don't want to move up to the A League because either they're scared they can't win a championship or because they're scared they're not good enough. And there's a lot of people like that we're currently dealing with in HSL.
Avi, what was the joke that you thought I was making?
I thought you were we poke fun all the time with those type of people, so I thought you were sort of like poking fun as like a joke at them for like,
there's so many. It's a big problem, and Yossi has it in the RSK too. He has guys in the B tier, and they don't feel like they belong in the A tier. There's something psychologically holding people back.
Yeah,
it's the second tier we have it like that. I mean, we didn't.
I think that one of the reason why it's a big issue. It's a conversation that does come up at times when we tournament about, when we look at a team and we say, hey, I think this is too good to be in B, they should be in A. And I don't necessarily care about how, the guys feel, whether they feel they're scared or whatever. But my concern is, well, what about the rest of the B guys? Like, it's not fair. They're all joining a tournament expecting a certain level of talent, and suddenly they're facing guys who don't really belong in B. They belong in A. They were just too scared to go to A. Like, that's kind of not fair, and it kind of ruins tournaments. That's where the struggle often is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting.
And we run it as basically two simultaneous tournaments, with everyone gets the same rotation of fields, the same trophies, the same championship caps. There's no difference between A and B. Oh, you're in the A, so you're getting this trophy or this thing or this swag. Nope, everything's the same. The only difference is which teams you happen to be facing. We had the broadcast booth by both fields. We had basically everything the same.
We had Sam Sutton by one championship, and then we had Yossi Gestetner by the other. And I think they even switched. Very fair.
Yeah. Got the same championship caps, the same trophies, because they're both champions. It doesn't matter, where you're at.
It's an interesting thing, this A versus B. We've spent a lot of time in our league, but we're running low on time. So let's get Yossi. How controversial are you ready to get? And we have we do something on some of our podcasts. We do 5 fast questions where you have to answer with your gut reaction. We don't like thinking and this and that and. We want to get your.
You're talking to a lawyer, so I don't know.
So if you wait, are you ready? If you wait more than 1 second, the question is void. It's null and void.
All right.
You ready to do it?
Let's do it.
All right. Who is the best hitter in the RSK tournament? And who is the best fielder in the RSK tournament?
Me.
Who is the best pitcher in the RSK tournament?
Yitz Greenbaum.
Who is the best hitter in the RSK tournament?
I don't know
Eh.
enough.
Who is most likely to win the RSK tournament?
Tier 1.
Tier 1? I think Lowinger.
Hot take. Oh, don't tell that to Avi Adler. Oh, boy. I happen to agree with you, Yossi, but definitely a hot take from the
But look,
words.
I'll to be fair, like that's like we're talking about. I think that the top, I would say, 4 teams in A are very, very close, and it could really go any way.
I agree.
But if I'm forced to pick one,
I would say the top 3. I'll say the top 3.
Who has surprised you most with their ability to fundraise?
Aaron Schwartz.
Very nice.
He has, just to follow up, I mean, we can pull up what his fundraising history is. He has done very, very well over the years, consistently.
Very nice. And I had one more question. Don't remember, but in the interim, while I remember it, Yossi, you have some of your RSK swag from over the years with you, don't you?
I got some stuff. I got ready. I was gonna set it up behind me on a display, but I don't have that thing. I was actually, because we were doing this, I dug up some of my old caps.
Ooh. Very nice.
And then we even have the one from the year that Avi won.
RSK curveball, baby.
With the little curveball on the back.
Ooh, very cute. Very
cute. It was a nice color. I have so much stuff. That was the first year. Yankee Cats was our event planner, and he was also the sponsor of the caps that year.
Like events.
Yes, and we had some cool. I even still have this. This was from year 1. Do you have one of these, Avi?
I do. I still have it.
Yeah.
Still have it. Still use it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say every time I see this stuff, it's like crazy how far we've come from that first year.
I have a question. How early do you start checking the weather?
Don't say that word to me. I can't.
If you go onto Yossi's status, check out the about. You can check it right now.
Wait, what is his status? His profile. What does it mean? His profile.
His profile on WhatsApp.
On WhatsApp.
Yossi, you have to save my number.
I don't have your number saved.
Well, I'm not zoicha to your status.
No, profile.
Not my status. It's a profile. It's not profile. My status.
Oh, okay. Sorry for making accusation. His profile. What am I looking for?
The about.
I see RSK. Oh, about.
What does it say?
Yes, I know the forecast. No, you don't have to tell me. Seriously.
You'd be
That's
shocked.
All year round.
You don't. One of the things it actually shocks me, even though it happens, is I will get text. The last couple of years, obviously, the year 2 we had a rain out where we had to shift. Last year, the forecast was kind of up in the air as we get in. A week before, I'll start getting texts from guys like, did you see the forecast? And I'm like, what do you think? Really? What do you think? You think I don't? It's 2 weeks, I would say 2, maybe even 3 weeks leading up to the tournament. I wake up in the morning, phone, weather.com. What is it? Okay, move on. An hour later, right after davening, again, it's constant. The anxiety is.
It's like you said, but David, it is hard, to be honest. It is hard. Like you have your league, outdoor event. It's very hard. Like there's no. Of course, we have a rain date and we try to work it out, but it's not easy. It's only Siyata D'Shmai because we can't really do anything. So, and even last year was probably the hottest day in June or whatever it was like that. And people were very scared about the weather and even we got calls that don't do it. People are going to just faint on you and that's all under the whole thing. And Baruch Hashem, it went like so smooth. And I don't think anyone, I mean, Baruch Hashem, we had this water all over and the ice tables.
If you remember, Aaron, I think Thursday we were on calls for hours coming up with ways to make it even to keep people cool. And we brought more. We have misting fans to keep people cool. We immediately got more misting fans. I think we added some more tents by the field.
We added more tents.
More
Productions, they brought a fridge truck. So they put in the water already before Shabbos. It should it should be freezing, and every
Fridge
team
truck
had
isn't cheap. Fridge truck is a lot of money.
it was an important investment, to make sure that everyone is hydrated. It was important. Klein's ice
I
cream,
can
we had
tell.
a freezer truck there for the ices. We tried the best, but Baruch Hashem, it worked out amazing.
It happens to be when after that night, I was talking. We had a couple of police officers there that were hanging around, and I was talking to them, and they were like, with this event, we were very worried. We were going to get here, and we were going to get calls, people passing out everywhere. He's like, when we got here, and we saw that you guys were set up for hot weather. He's like, you could not go more than 50 feet without there being cold drinks and like tents. And he's like, then I was like, and I was good, and everyone was fine. And
That's really nice.
It really worked out
That's
well.
a really big compliment.
Yeah.
So,
And I'll tell you, you mentioned, like you threw in like, truck, it's expensive. But the truth is, I'll tell you, when we run a large event, and that does come with costs, and everyone's aware of that. But we focus on every single thing that we do is an investment in the tournament and how it benefits the tzedakah. Every single thing. Me and Aaron sit there line by line, budget item, to make sure, is this worth it? Is this something, not just do we have to do because does this make the tournament better and therefore benefit tzedakah? Every single thing. And something that goes to player safety is clearly beneficial. And everything. And it's such a huge part that goes into planning this. So
yeah,
yes,
you probably saw
sometimes
it. We were busy already. I think it was 2 months ago or even more. Literally going the whole night, just going over line after line, checking every item, what the cost is. Is there a different way how to do it? A better way, more efficient. Mama's checking, and we do have a budget. It's RSK, and there's a strict budget for the tournament, a budget that makes sense. And Baruch Hashem, we get it sponsored. Thanks to all our sponsors, we have the main event sponsor, and then team sponsors and the field sponsors. So it gets covered. But this is, obviously, as Yossi mentioned right away in the beginning, it's not just a nice thing that RSK does. This is the event of the year. It's our fundraising event, and it's the one time that we come all out. And Baruch Hashem, today we even checked the numbers from last year. It's over 1,000 people attendance, and probably it's going to be more this year. And the people come, they raise the money we fundraise, and it's not, of course, we do it as a fundraiser, and on top of it, which is so beautiful, then at the same time, it's an amazing awareness event. The amount of people that got to know RSK, like that you mentioned before, but not just to hear about the idea of RSK, but to actually implement it, to bring it to their communities. And we have now every week, literally minimum, once or twice a week, that we have awareness events. Our coaches go to different communities, different schools, different neighborhoods, give over beautiful lectures, and to talk about, what we preach every day. And even this year, we added that when you donate, I don't know if you noticed that.
I signed up. I signed up for the counseling. Yeah.
So,
I did. I didn't sign up for the counseling. I signed up for
did.
the emails, but I didn't yet sign up for the counseling. So they emailed me, but I didn't sign up. I did notice.
It's a mamash. We tied it to, both are important. Of course, we do it as our biggest fundraiser event, public fundraiser event. But at the same time, we want the awareness, and we appreciate, what we could get to with this.
All right, one last question before we end. And you guys might need to defend yourselves. Every guest we have on our HSL podcast, HSL, Aaron, is the softball league and the other basketball league that me and Avi run. We ask
Kids league.
Of course, I heard about it.
Kids,
of course.
Kids leagues, yeah. We ask them, what can we do to improve our product? So now Avi is a client of the RSK tournament. So I want to ask Avi, what can Reb Aaron and Reb Yossi do to improve the tournament?
That's actually a great question.
Besides kicking Uri Adler out of the tournament.
To be honest,
before Avi answers, you mentioned, we're gonna have to defend ourselves. Feedback is the most valuable thing. Avi knows, because he's played every year after the tournament. We send out a feedback form, and we go through it, and we implement the things that
we sit on it. We sit on it for weeks.
Yeah, we sit on it.
On the feedback. It's the first thing that we do after the tournament.
Yeah,
I,
our goal
I,
is we want to provide an experience that guys want to be a part of. So we want to hear this. So there's no defending. We want to hear what
Yeah, we
Avi has to
review
say.
every line, every comment, so we appreciate it. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone
right.
who fills it
I
out.
would say my answer is, and again, I'm not just saying this to be protective. I really, in terms of the event itself, how what it's come to. Um, I mentioned the word Gan Eden before. There's just a constant rush of adrenaline through me the whole time, where I'm on a constant high. Even when I'm losing and I'm just beyond upset. Um, 45 minutes an hour after I lose, it's never happened before. Usually when I lose a softball game, especially a big game, I get genuinely depressed. But when I'm, which might not be such a good thing, but when I'm in the RSK tournament, when I'm in the environment, I feel amazing. So in terms of the event itself and the day itself, I honestly, it could be if I think and I put pen to paper, I'm sure I could find something wrong. Everyone could find something wrong with everything. Asking me now, I probably don't. I don't think of anything. The only thing I could think of, which again is, it's almost impossible to avoid, and it's something that I was so proud of our first year in RSK is for the actual competition, which nothing to do with the event itself, but it sort of turned into a little bit of, you have two or three teams trying to um, trying to bulk up as much as possible. For example, we won the RSK tournament year one. So in year two, Menachem Diamondstein, as a competitive softball guy should, bulked his team up to be absolutely amazing in 1 year two. And then Uri Adler, as he should, after losing to Menachem Diamondstein, bulked his team up to win year three. And then Yosi lowered. So, it's come to a little bit where the top three, four teams, as we were saying earlier, is, in my opinion, to be frank, way above the bottom four. It doesn't mean that I don't love it and I don't want to compete, which I do. That's why I'm coming back with 12th graders to play, and I think the other teams feel the same way. But if somehow there's a magical way of making the tier one competition, I guess similar to sense of tier two, where it's
The draft.
more competitive. It's complicated to a draft because it's a ducker. You're signing up. People want to play with people that they want to play with. But that's the only thing I could think of on the spot off the top of my head. But in terms of the actual day itself, like I said, I feel like I am. It is it's my happy place beyond for that 12 hours, however long I'm there for.
So it's actually interesting the two things that you said. The first thing that, even when you lose, you still like you feel afterwards, 45 minutes later, you're feeling great and you're having a great time. When me and Yitz Greenbaum sat down to plan this initially, one of the biggest things that we said is win or lose, every guy has to have a great experience. That is our main focus. And that's how we well, that's why we created the tournament format that we did with the seeding games and then going into elimination games to guarantee guys. That's where the concept of having the players lounge and places for guys to go hang out came from. All these things were, no matter what, you're going to walk away from that day feeling like I had a great day playing tons of softball and chilling, eating great food and enjoying.
Family
So
time.
if family time, it's great to hear that that's really how you feel. In terms of the second thing of, where teams are constantly building and you end up with a very, very top heavy thing, you're right. It's a problem. It's something that me and Yitz discussed as we watched it, but when we started this, our biggest thing was we decided we can't get involved with how teams build things. For it's too much. Getting guys onto teams, their guys are asking, can you get me onto the team? Can you not? We just took ourselves out entirely, and teams have to just kind of organize on their own. And we think that that's the best way to run a tournament. Yes, the problems that you're mentioning are legitimate, but we think that still the best option is to just let it be. Now, it's funny because in the Muncie League, for a long time, there were a couple of teams that were basically winning every year. And people would complain, and then the league would try to do different things to kind of make it, that they can't add new guys, they can't do this, they can't do that. And my attitude was always, why? So they're the best team. My job is to be better. We should get better. It's not the league's job to make them worse. We should find ways to get better. And that's kind of also my attitude with the other teams. And I don't play for the teams that I'm imagining that you think are the best. But you know what? Okay, so my job is to find ways to add talent to my team and play better.
Which by the way, I agree with. I agree 100%
Yeah,
with, which is
yeah,
why I'm actually excited to come with these 12th grade
yeah.
kids. I guess my perspective a little bit more of like my I guess I'm a little like no Dover because the first year I won with a team that quote unquote wasn't expected to win. I know a lot of these guys that know these Laker guys and how talented they
Right.
were, but ever since I won, I feel like it's just been teams that just been like going from solid teams and throwing like every single quote unquote all-star in the book onto their team and loading up, which again is fine, good for them. Like I said they got to do what they got to do to
Right.
win. I'm also, in the words of Menachem Diamond scene, he said, listen, he said, I'll do what I have to do to win. I said, I don't care about anything else. I want to win, and good for him.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait, one
that it
second.
just
Reb
It's
Aaron,
coming
before a
from
minute ago,
Florida,
you
Menachem.
right, exactly,
Reb
coming from
Aaron, you
Florida.
said you weren't so sure about the A versus B. Now you hear all this talk about winning. All I care about is winning. Give us some hashkafa, give us some mussar. What are your thoughts on all of this?
It's interesting. I got a call, Mamish before Paisa, like before the like an hour before. Just one of the guys, wanted to call. It's very special to say good yontiv, and I asked him, how is it going and stuff. He said, let me tell you one thing. It was then a little bit, happy about teams. Said he told me, and it was interesting to hear from him. In baseball with teams, it's always going to be hack. It's nothing about RSK, nothing about bad for RSK. You can't do anything about it. Just stand aside and smile. But it was interesting to hear it from him. But obviously, like Yossi said, we do try to to look into everything that happens the day of the tournament to make sure if we could help, if we could steer in any direction, we would. That's why one of the reasons before doing the splitting up to A and B to two tiers was to give a chance for other people. It shouldn't be always the same guys winning, and but it's nothing. I'm sure whatever we could do, and we always talk about it, we try to do. But at the end of the game, it's like also the whole setup. Like when you register, it's up to the captain. Like he's in charge. He chooses his
He
guys.
approves you when you
He
register,
approved,
right?
and we did set it up that way. But I do know from the other hand, I heard of I think two teams that are taking it really serious this year. They want to win. Essentially, they want to win, and they have a whole schedule to go out with their team. The whole this I think the next few Sundays, whatever it is, to practice together with their team, not just meet at the game. They are they want to win, so they're putting in the effort. But it's interesting and it's amazing. It is a game. You just win it. You just play the game.
All right, Robosai, we got to wrap up. This has been an incredible pleasure. It's an interesting philosophical point. Yes, kiss your trophy, Avi.
By the way, Aaron, he wants to
That's
see
a
the more recent trophies. You have one behind you.
We had one. This one last year.
Did I get gypped?
No, I think Avi, I like yours. Avi.
Is Uri Adler gonna be laughing in my face like, "Ha, I got one double?" Oh my goodness! Can I see
But
it?
here's the thing.
Let me see it.
Avi. No
Let me
matter.
more in the camera. Oh my gosh!
Oh, that's a nice
no
logo in the middle. Very nice.
But no matter what,
Aaron, why
Avi,
did you get a
you'll
trophy?
always
Aaron,
have the first one.
I'll always have the first one. That's right.
That's
Always
it.
have the first one.
Me
Me and Uri Adler. We always have the first one.
All right, hopefully I'll still.
And Jakob Sabo, by the way. Shout out Jakob Sabo. I'm trying to get guys like Jakob Sabo to come join my my tier 1 team, playing with these kids. I'm a competitor, so I'll play with anybody. I think it's hard to get guys to join 12th graders. Like, oh, I'm not gonna waste my time. He tells me, he's like, I already wanted the RSK championship. Like, come on, like, why? I'd rather play in tier 2 and just have a fun, chill time. And I guess some people aren't as competitive as I am.
We're one of the longest podcasts we've had in a long time. So
might be the longest ever.
Pleasure. No, Aaron, I was texting with Yosef Grossman a few minutes ago. He said Aaron is a big get for the podcast. He said not easy. So we really appreciate your coming on.
It's his podcast debut. His podcast debut.
Yossi, I guess you're not on the same Madriga as Aaron, but Yossi wasn't impressed.
That's okay.
I sent him a little picture. I was texting him. I sent him a picture while we were talking. He said, "Oh, Aaron, a big get," but I guess Yossi, you're just a pashadi.
I'm glad you told me because now I'm going to be texting him a little right after we get off.
But it's a real pleasure, and you guys are doing an amazing thing. And there's also, I was telling Yossi before the podcast, recreational sports are so important to so many people, and you've found a way to merge that with such a holy and important cause to help people pay for, help people survive, help people pay for things, help people afford yeshiva tuition, help people afford to have more children. There's nothing more important. So it's an incredible thing, and we're so lucky to have you on.
A one-day event that keeps the buzz 360 through the remaining season, 64 days, is absolutely phenomenal. Like, it's especially in only 4 years. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Like, there's always something else going on. Literally, every single week of the year, there's another comment about RSK in one way or the other. Like, not without an exaggeration, on some chat, on somewhere, on someone's status, I am seeing something about the RSK tournament. So
Yeah, you're getting
that
hit
is
up
something.
for money. You're getting hit up for money 364 days a year. All right,
That's
guys.
true.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It's been
you.
a
Thank you,
Thanks,
pleasure.
everyone.
guys.
Our
Thanks for
pleasure.
coming
Appreciate it.
on.